Say hi, Lola. Hi, Lola. Can you say hi, Lola? Oh, it's a pretty girl. Say hi. You're so sweet. Happy holidays to everybody. I hope you get to enjoy some family time, and Happy New Year. I'm gonna try to make a couple videos today. One of which is going to be kind of a mini seed haul. I've placed, I think, what are going to be the only seed orders I'm going to place this year. They're both quite small. And I participated in one seed swap, and I think that's also going to be the only seed swap that I participate in this year. I have an abundance of seeds, unless it's something that I need, or in the case of something that doesn't store for multiple years very well, like something like onions. I think I'm going to try to cut back on the number of seeds that I order. It's become overwhelming, and I want to use what I have before they don't germinate anymore. And I will be making some videos. I made one last year about the tomatoes that I was going to grow in 2021, so I'm planning to do that again this year, and I'm also going to do peppers. Maybe I'll do some other things, and there will definitely be more daily videos. But yeah, so let's start off with a seed haul. Okay, this is what we're starting with. This is what we have to go through. So I'll go through, we'll do the swap last. We'll go through these orders first. So the first one was from a small company called Annapolis Seeds that's here in my home province of Nova Scotia. I highly recommend finding a seed company that's in your area. This company, they grow all of their own seeds. It's all produced here in Nova Scotia, like an hour, 2 hours away from where I live. So everything that they grow, I know it's possible for me to grow here, including this first one, which is onions. I have an ongoing battle trying to grow onions, and every year I say I'm gonna give up, and every year I don't. So I'm gonna try at least one more time to grow onions. I'm kind of obsessed with trying to grow this kind. If you follow gardeners on Instagram, you might be familiar with Whole Fed Homestead. And this is her favorite onion. And it is a very attractive onion that apparently stores well. And I'm obsessed with trying to grow it. So hopefully this is the year. So that's the first packet that I ordered. Also, onions are one of those seed that I have some left over from last year, but I wasn't sure that the germination was still good. Onions are one of those seeds that only lasts 1 to 2 years. A lot of things like peppers and tomatoes you can get away with, you know, a long time, quite a number of years before their germination rates are severely affected. But onions and carrots are two that I like to replace every year or two. So the next thing that I got is Canada crookneck squash. I've seen a lot of people have a lot of success with this. I think the first people that I saw raving about it was Living Traditions Homestead. And, you know, it's called Canadian crookneck, so it must have possibilities here. So I'm going to give this one a try. I usually have hit or miss success with squash. Generally, I have pretty good luck with acorn. Sometimes the butternuts, which I think this would be classified as. Sometimes they do good, sometimes they're small. This was kind of a small year, so I'm hoping these ones are pretty good for me this year. The next thing I got to try was, this is an amaranth mix. They're calling it a popping mix, and because it's a mix, I'm assuming you can probably do this with all amaranth, but I found this quite intriguing. So it's kind of like mini puffed rice when you pop it. So we'll try that. I can also use it as cut flowers, but I think my stepkids will find that just something fun to try. I also got some celosia. I think you'll probably notice that most of the seeds I purchased this year are flowers. I have an abundance of vegetable seeds. I've been growing those longer. And I don't need to replenish quite as many of those. These I'm still playing around with cut flowers, trying to figure out what I like, what grows well here. So most of the seeds that I purchased will be flowers. I also got some Sweet Annie to try. I think you can use this both fresh and dried, so that'll be cool. And they sent a bonus pack of some red poppies. So who doesn't love a poppy? And you can use the pods in flower arrangements too. So that's everything that I got from Annapolis Seeds, and the packaging is pretty cute, as you can see. And they also put, I don't know if it's on the flower, oh yeah, they do. They also put growing instructions on the back to help you out. So that was those. Now we'll get into what I ordered from Johnny's. So Johnny's is a US company, but they do ship to Canada, and they have actually quite reasonable prices. I started ordering from them a couple years ago, and just the variety of what they offer, it is one of my favorite places to order from, especially for cut flowers. So I guess we'll start with some things that I'm going to be starting soon. So I did try to grow Lisianthus last year. It's notoriously difficult. I ended up with like 2 blooms out of like 1 packet of seeds. And it was enough to make me want to try again. They're gorgeous. They kind of look like roses. They come in a range of colors, more than roses would come in, I would say. And like pink, purple, yellow, white, picotee kinds. So I bought 2 kinds. I have some left over from last year. I have some, I think they're a white variety. I can't remember the name of them right now, but I'm going to be trying those, as well as this one, which is Voyage to Champagne, and Roseanne Green. So that is something, if you've ever tried to grow Lisianthus, or if you know anything about them, they take forever. So these and some eucalyptus will be the very first things that I seed start this year, and I will be starting those today. And today is December 31st. I think I started them December 29th last year, and they remain teeny tiny for so long, which is part of the difficulty in growing these, is just not killing them before they're large enough to not be so fussy. Like there's whole groups online dedicated to growing these things, and I've been reading all year. So hopefully this year we have a more successful year. So that's the Lisianthus, and stay tuned for a seed starting video on those. So I also got, this is just a dianthus. This one is white, and I think I just picked it, like, I wanted to try more dianthus, and I think this one has, you know, the nice smell that people like for dianthus and sweet william. So, and you know, white seems super useful, so I just picked this one up because of that. Now, let's get into the rest of these things. So, I got some sun-rich sunflowers. The reason I wanted to try these ones, you know, everyone talks about Pro-Cut, which I also did get some, but these ones, from what I have heard, have a more upright facing flower. So they don't face down so much, which can be difficult. You know, I didn't get much practice with sunflowers last year. I grew mostly just, you know, seeds I had on hand that were branching varieties. They weren't like these specialty cut flower sunflowers. But the ones that are downward facing, and I noticed this with dahlias too, like it's just so hard to use a flower that's facing down. You have to prop it up on something. So I thought these might be a nice sunflower choice to have some upward facing or some more upward facing blooms. So I did also get some Pro Cuts. So these ones are the Pro Cut Gold Light. So they're like your typical sunflower color, like that yellow, orange, gold sunflower color, but with a light center. So those will be quite pretty, I'm sure. I also got some larkspur. I want to try, this is larger than a standard pack too. They were like half price. They were discounted. I think it's last year's seed. So I got quite a few because I want to try drying them. And I grew a couple plants last year, but not anything, you know, I didn't even grow enough for like a bouquet. So I want to grow a lot of larkspur this year. It's just a mix. It's got like the white, pink, and blue mixes. Then I got some snapdragons. I haven't tried the Madame Butterflies, so I wanted to give those a try. I got the Madame Butterfly Red and the Madame Butterfly Bronze. And I grew Potomac, what was it last year? It was a different color last year. I'm trying the lavender this year. I don't know if it, I think it was red. I think it was Potomac Red last year. And they were really pretty, so I thought I'd give the lavender a shot this year. I also got some Boo Plurum because I did not have enough filler last year. I mostly grew basil, which I ran out of, and then proceeded to cut down all of the shrubs growing around the house and all of the peony leaves, of which there weren't very many. I only had a couple plants. I planted a few more last year, but filler and greenery was something I was severely lacking, so I'm gonna try to grow more things like this year. And I do already have some seeds, I just didn't plant them or they weren't successful last year. I also got some Dara. So I also found, like, you know, especially later in the season, August and onward, I was swimming in dahlias and had nothing to put with them. So I wanted some more interest, so it wasn't just bunches of dahlias. Not that that's a bad thing. Dahlias, you know, I don't think there's a wrong way to use a dahlia, but just so that everything didn't look the same, I wanted some other things to play with. So I'm gonna try this, which is like a lacy type flower. And the last thing I got from Johnny's was this pumpkin. It's one of those ones, it's like orange with green splotches on it. So I want this mainly, I think this is also an eating pumpkin, I could be wrong, but mainly I want it for decorating. So, and I don't have great luck with pumpkins, so we'll see how this one goes as well, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. So that was all of the seeds that I ordered. Now let's get into the seed swap. Okay, we'll go over the vegetables in a second, but this is some of the flower seeds that I received as part of the swap. This is by far my favorite swap. It's open only to Canadians, so not that, you know, I think you should only order from your area, but it increases the odds of these things being successful in my northern garden. So with the exception of, you know, the coast of BC, there's not many areas in Nova Scotia that are more than one or two growing zones away from my own. So I think this was the 4th year I've participated in this swap. And the other thing that makes it my favorite is you're able to send in wish lists. So the lady that runs it does her very best to match up what people are sending in with what people are wishing for. And oftentimes she'll give us a heads up what some of the things that are being wished for the most are, so that we can, send in some of those items. And you're limited to only 40 packs total and only 2 per type of seed that you're sending in. So you're not like inundated with those super easy things to save. Like, there's always a good variety. By far, this is my favorite swap. I'm not going to go over everything. Some of these things are things that I asked for, and some of them are not, and I'm happy with all of them. If I don't get to growing everything this year, I'm sure, like, there's nothing on here that I'm not interested in growing. So this is the flower portion. I'll put these away and then we'll get on to the veggies. Okay, here's most of the vegetables. I guess it's not quite all vegetables. It's also a few herbs, and also one of the things I had requested this year was cover crops. In particular, I was interested in mustard. I think I talked about it in the Dahlia video, or one of them, the last one I think, that wireworms were kind of an issue, and one of the things that you can use to combat wireworms is a cover crop of mustard. So I wanted to give that a try. And like I said before, carrots and onions tend to be seeds that don't last year to year as well as some of the others. So I almost always ask for carrots and onions to be, especially storage types, to be on my wish list to help me having to buy seeds. I generally do anyway, but I'm trying to cut that back. So that was my attempt at that. I did buy those onion seeds, but I think I'm done now. I got some beans. Beans are always cool and fun to try a few different varieties every year. These ones look similar to a kind I have grown before, the Canada Goose, I think is what they were called. So I'm thinking these are probably pretty similar, but I've never grown these other two, so probably those will get added to the list. And then what's left is some peppers and tomatoes. So a lot of these, the pink Berkeley tie-dye was one that I had wanted to try. I did request that one. I had also requested the Laura cherry tomato. I have tried the Great White Blues. I think I talked about it this year in the tomato video. I tried it this year. It didn't impress me, but I will try it again. I think it was mostly a timing issue, not knowing when it was ripe. And the white Tome Sol I also requested. I've heard that's a really good tomato and wanted to give it a try. And you can see the others that I received as well. For the peppers, I'm really interested in trying the black pepper this year. If I'm not mixing them up, I should have looked before I started this, but I think it is like a streaky sweet pepper. And I do really like, I think I've settled on, the name is escaping me right now. I'll put the name at the bottom here. Like Northern King or something like that. Anyway, a sweet pepper that grows really well here, and I think it is my favorite, and I'm going to also try to focus on like tried and true and staple crops this year more so than I usually do. There's always going to be experiments, and I'm always going to have, a few strange things in the garden, but with costs of groceries rising seemingly exponentially here the last year or so, I want to try to put up more of our own food. We typically don't put up a lot. Like we make salsa and jams and things like that, and I'll always pickle some peppers. And obviously garlic is a crop that I rely on us growing our own, but we typically eat from the garden fresh and not so much from storage. So I want to try, you know, there's no reason, peppers freeze really well. There's no reason that I can't grow all of our peppers for the year. And I want to grow more carrots. I think I only grew like 4 or 5 square feet this year. I want to grow a lot more than that next year. Things like that. I'll probably try, I need to look up this Lesia pepper and check that out and see if that's something that I will grow or not. And some of these other ones, I will always grow a few chilies. Gonna try to make our own pepper flakes next year. I have done that in the past, a couple years ago. We've run out now and I had to buy pepper flakes this year, which I wasn't fond of doing. So, you know, your own always tastes better. So peppers is going to be a focus next year. I think a few fewer tomatoes and a few more peppers and some other changes in the garden, and we'll talk about that in upcoming videos. But that was the seed swap and the seed haul, and look forward to some planting videos. Thanks for watching.